I've talked before about how changes to eating habits have helped me with binge eating disorder. Recently, I talked about how I tested a whole foods diet, and I also talked about strategies around using cheat days or cheat meals. At the time of recording, we are in January, or I guess January. At the moment, I have a little bit of destabilization coming up with my day-to-day routine, and it's playing on my mind, and that's affecting my fitness, and that my fitness ties into my nutrition, so it's kind of affecting that as well, which means that it has left me a little bit more prone to binging and a little bit less in control of my urge to binge. I haven't had like a big blowout binge, but I can just sort of like start to tell that little sort of voice in my head starting to appear a little bit more frequently than I'd like it to. And it is frustrating because I've had a really good 6-7 months of just being completely in control of it, or being completely on top of it. As it's January or Veganuary, I wanted to test out and see if going vegan for a bit might actually help. If you think back to when I talked about the whole foods diet, I mentioned that finding out whey protein was giving me acne, kind of stopped my cravings for it entirely, and whey protein bars were probably one of my go-to binge foods. But I mean, since that, my dairy intake generally has pretty much dropped off a cliff. I think the only regular dairy I'm having has been a little bit of butter, and if there's milk or some dairy product in something, so milk chocolate. And it's amazing how many foods seem to have dry skim milk powder in it. Like the rice cakes I like, I don't see why they have skim milk powder in them, but they do for some reason. I am an omnivore, but I don't eat a whole lot of meat, poultry, eggs, or fish. And probably over the course of a week, it's maybe 5 or 6 meals. So it's still quite substantial, but it's a lot lower than what probably most omnivores eat. So for me to try going vegan wouldn't be as big of a jump for me as maybe someone who has meat or poultry 2 or 3 meals a day. At this point, I should probably pause for a moment and just set some definition around veganism. So in the context of a vegan diet, it's basically the elimination of animal products and animal byproducts. So no meat, no fish, no poultry, no eggs, no dairy. And the one that seems to get missed up quite a lot is no honey, because it's from bees. So that's kind of the very broad definition. And let's talk about how it went. So I tried it for about 2 weeks, and in terms of my binge cravings, it made absolutely no difference. I kind of realized that the foods I binge on, or the foods that I crave most when I binge, are all actually vegan. I mean, I like really dark chocolate, which is normally without milk, so 80% or darker, peanut butter, granola, vegan protein bars, Oreos, which, I mean, they don't say vegan on the packet, but they have milk products in them, and a lot of vegans do count them as fine. Biscoff spread, and ice cream. And the word on ice cream, yes, normal ice cream is dairy, but there are plenty of plant-based ice creams out there, and some of them actually taste better than the so-called real thing. So yeah, ice cream as well. So what this kind of made me realize is that while I was following an omnivore diet, so it wasn't vegan overall, my binges kind of were vegan. I think if the foods I was prone to binging on weren't vegan, then it might have made a difference. So if I was going for like pizza or cheese or burgers or, any food with animal products basically, then yeah, maybe it would have made a big difference. But going vegan didn't mean eliminating any of the foods I was already prone to craving or prone to binging on, which is why it didn't really make a difference to the binge cravings. So can going vegan help with binge eating disorder? I think there's a long-winded answer and a short answer. In my case, it didn't work, but there is more to it than that. I think if someone doesn't eat a lot of fruit and vegetables and they go vegan and start to increase those, they may find that their health improves, they feel fuller, they just have a better sense of well-being, in which case they may be less likely to have a binge trigger, or they may be less likely to have a binge at all. Also, if your binge foods are things that end up getting eliminated by going vegan, it may help. But like I said, in my case, my binges were already based on vegan foods, so I didn't really set myself up for success with that.